evening and welcome to Freewheeling. This is Siddharth Vinayak Partner, and as promised, and you've got a glimpse already of him there, I know, that is Rajeev Chaba, who is the President and Managing Director at MG Motor India. Good evening, Rajeev.
Hi, good evening, Siddharth.
And thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
No, thank you for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure, and it's always great to see you. It's been a while since we got to, I know, meet in the physical world, but it's good that we can at least do this today.
Right. Good to see you too, Siddharth.
All right. So the way this works, of course, Rajiv, is that we will be chatting, but there's lots of other people who are joining in, and we are already starting to see people saying hello, and they're wishing you too. So as this builds, of course, I'll keep also bringing you some of their questions. And so for those of you who are joining us already, remember that if you don't know how this works, we will be taking your questions. So save those up and start to bring those in as well. And yes, a lot of them are now, like I said, adding in there. So Rajiv, first things first, tough times, and tough times always call for some tough action. I know that there's been a lot that's been happening at MG Motor India in terms of being able to tackle the current situation. Why don't you talk us through that a little bit? Let's get started and just get a sense of how the last month has been for you.
Yeah, so in our company, we are doing lots of discussions, deliberations, and executing few of those things as we speak. We are saying this whole crisis, we can break it into three phases. The first thing is March to June kind of time frame, and then July to September, October, and then the third phase. So the first phase right now, the whole issue is take care of employees' health, their families, their well-being, and that applies to extended communities also, which is dealers, suppliers, and community in and around plant, which is Halol, Baroda, and Gurgaon, and make sure here that everybody is okay, safe, and we would like to be known as internally we are calling it friend in your bad days. If something goes wrong, we are here to support you. And that's some of the things what we are trying to do to employees. We have said very clearly, even in the worst case, whatever may happen in this crisis, nobody's losing job. That kind of assurance we are trying to give to the dealers. Also, we are saying that apart from the generic help, what we intend to give to the dealers, we are saying if any dealer specifically gets into any issue, we are here to support you. And the same thing is true for suppliers. I'm happy and proud to say that all the payments are on time. And so that's one side. The second is, I think this is not enough, in my opinion. And our team is focused a lot on taking care of community. So here, also, we are trying to make sure that in community, we can't obviously take care of whole India right now, but at least in Halol, Baroda, Gurgaon, where we are based, here, if we can take care of migrant labor, which is stuck on the borders for food, at hospitals, so we are providing a lot of supplies to the hospitals. We are working with the local administration for any kind of help they need. In fact, today we announced that 100 cars, Hectors, we are going to give for the whole month of May, starting from now, and they can take care of the doctor's need or medicos needs in terms of transportation. So whole lot of things we are trying to do for community, and ventilator program is very important part of it. And we can talk more about that in the program. So this is the first phase, which I say, let's say March, part of March, April, May, and June. And I think this will continue. We are not going to stop it. And I'm happy to say that more than 20% of our staff is right now dedicated, and they're spending time on this community service. And then comes obviously start the plant, manage the supply constraints. Actually, we have got the approval, by the way, recently to start the plant. But I think we are taking it easy because the new SOP, we want to make sure that we do it smartly and safely for employees. And supply chain constraints are there, so take care of that in the second part. And then start managing demand in the second phase, and hopefully in the third phase by October or November, hopefully you're back to normal like last year.
So just to clarify, when you say you had permission to open the plant, that is this little slightly relaxed norms for certain people in certain pockets of the country. That was something that the government had agreed to. You're saying under that, the local Gujarat administration had said that if you would like to, you could open the plant?
Yes, exactly. So they gave us the permission, and actually they look they look into the record that how do you maintain things at your end, and also obviously the local coronavirus scenario. So
Yeah.
based on all that, there's a committee now at a local level. In every district, I would like to believe there's a local committee chaired by DC. So in that case, we got the permission to start from Monday. But Tuesday onwards, we started sending few employees. So as we speak today, let's say 8 or 9% of our people went to plant today. But they are going to get ready. They are basically trying to see the readiness of the plant, the new standard operating process. How will guys come in bus, screening, canteen, stations, little bit of relayouting, and then start accessing the suppliers, because very few suppliers are up and running at this point of time. So that kind of preparation is going on.
All right. I know that you had wanted us to bring in some of your team members, so we'll do that in a second because I'm quite excited about having them all join us. But a quick word. Today you also released a song, so you want to tell us a little bit about the background on that, because I'm seeing some comments on that already.
That's very interesting. In fact, one or two things which our team is doing it, and by the way, it's no value addition from my side on this. The team decided, and I'm really excited. Team did it. And what was that? Was that they said, hey, listen, everybody is talking about the gloom and doom and bad days and no hopes, nothing. So, can we do something where we have fun creating it, and maybe in the process it becomes a good song and people like it, and probably it gives you that feeling of hope and solidarity. So in fact, Udit is here, and maybe Udit can talk more than me on that. And so Udit started that, and Runa helped him, and other guys joined in, and they roped in, very famous lyricist, Dr. Rahat Indori, who normally doesn't do these things now, but he got into it. And then we involve dealers also. So this video has got employees and dealers. I think it has come out very well, and it grows on you, this music. If you hear it 2-3 times, probably it grows on you. So
Raftar Wahi
really
Hogi,
excited.
Right? Raftar Wahi Hogi, I think that's what.
Raftar Wahi Hogi.
So I must tell you, there's a person, or a couple of people who've already said. There's Shinu who says the song is awesome, sir. So and you mentioned Udit, so let me bring him in now and have him join us. So adding Udit into this. Good evening, Udit. Nice to see you as well.
Good evening, Siddharth. How are you?
Oh, ये बड़ा young है, इतना लग नहीं रहा है, by the way, Siddharth, but he's very young.
I think you have the distinction of having the country's youngest CMO in the industry.
Exactly. Yeah, he's hardly 31, I think. Yeah.
He will be, right? You're not even 31 yet.
Yeah.
I am 30 right now.
Yeah.
30 right
30, yeah.
No, that's amazing. Congrats in any case on that, Udit. I know it was formalized this week, but tell us about this. I mean, the fact that it's not easy, firstly, to be able to come up with not just the idea, the execution, but then also being able to take that message across to people.
So, Siddharth, MG has always been an experience brand. Innovation, community, experiences, and diversity has been our core pillars. Now, when at this point in time, the two messages or the two pillars that we've focused on extensively is community service and experiences. So, as an ode to the things that we are doing on ground, this was a project that we have turned around in less than a week. And like Rajeev said, Dr. Rahat Indori, music composition by Farid Code, lyrics done within, let's say, 30 minutes of time. And this entire is a stay-at-home production. So all of what you see today with the Song of Solidarity, which is there, which is Raftar Yahi Hogi, is a 1 week turnout project that we have executed. And those are some of the initiatives that we feel are helping build communities. People are connecting with music, and this is a song of hope. So we want to give hope to people in such times. There's some hope, and that's great.
I must tell you, there's lots of appreciation for that as well. There is Ruchi, there is Gitika. They both said that the song is very inspiring. They do love it a lot. It's interesting how the word inspiring has been used by both of them. Of course, like I said, a lot of people seem to be reacting to it already. And Amar also says, मैंने भी आज ये रफ्तार वाला song सुना और किसने सुना, raise your hand. So there's like a little private conversation happening there. So no, it's nice to see that. It's I think in any case, I'm sure that was partly what you had wanted to see happen. while I have you guys here, and we'll get Runa in a second as well. The elephant in the room. I think Rajiv, you and I had spoken about it, and so let's get it out of the way because I already see some. May I say rude comments that have started about the fact that your roots lie in your parent company in China. Now, given the current situation, and given the fact that there's always something that you had considered even before bringing the brand to India, this whole Chinese connection. So you already are equipped to handle that, I know. But now, in particular, given some of the sentiment that gets behind it, firstly, I know I'm not the first one who's asking you this. Secondly, how do you plan to deal with it? And then, from a communications perspective, we can bring in Runa.
So on the lighter side, I think first you should not say elephant in the room. You should say dragon in the room.
I like that.
Anyway. All right. Okay. So I think that important thing is I don't want to get into the politics of this whole thing because let politicians handle politics and we are in the business.
Absolutely.
But few things from my perspective. MG is a British brand. Quintessential British, 96 years old, and I think nobody can deny that. And I keep saying it. It's owned by Chinese right now. So there are many brands where the origin is something else, some other country, and ownership is from some other country. So MG belongs to that category, and I keep saying that MG was owned by BMW around 15 years, 16 years back. So it was not a German brand. It remained a British brand, and BMW was owning it. So, and again, I say as extension of logic that if suppose tomorrow MG gets sold to an African guy, it will not become an African brand. It will be a British brand, right? So the brand is British. Yes, the ownership is Chinese, right? And at this point of time, that's the ownership. And I think they provide a lot of money in technology, in connectedness, in EVs, in all the future mobility solutions. So huge R&D, they are able to do it, and they are trying to make this brand as a global brand. But let's talk about what are the elements of the brand. The first thing is consumers need to have trust in that brand. So what's the brand promise? Okay, and brand promise we talk about is that, hey, listen, this is what we are offering you. This is the kind of a warranty. This is the kind of a resale price promise. This is the cost of ownership. Blah blah blah. So if customer is getting all that value proposition in a compelling way, and he can trust, and he or she feels that we are delivering it, I think the brand delivers the promise. So so I think people are smart not to look at that only Chinese or Germans or Koreans or Japanese product they will buy because of the name tag. They will buy because it's a compelling proposition. So I sincerely believe in that. And this is what we are trying to do that. Second thing is, apart from the brand promise, who are your suppliers and dealers? And by the way, these are the global suppliers who are supplying to anyone in the country, anywhere in India or anyone else the world. As an example, you talk about it, Magneti Marelli or ZF or Bosch or you take Value, you take Autoliv. They're all global brands. It's supplied to everyone, and we are a global manufacturer, so they're also supplying to us. In India, Tata Components supply to us. Munjal supplies to us. Lumax Hella. So Goodyear or Apollo Tires. So these are the suppliers. So the thing is that these are all Indian suppliers and global suppliers who are supplying it. Yeah, platform happens to be SAIC. The third thing is the dealers. I'm happy to say that the best dealers of the country are our dealers who are taking care of the customers. And with them, the simple proposition is you take care of customer satisfaction and we take care of your profitability and viability. That has been the mantra right from the day one. And because of that, we are able to get some really good dealers of the country. You can see the team, the kind of people we are able to attract. So I think I would say we are a multinational company. We have the best practices followed either in China or in India or in UK or in America globally. And that's the kind of a culture we want to make it. And I'm happy to say we are able to make it. And our roots are in community service and support. So now I will leave it to the audience to decide what kind of company we are. Out of 2,000 employees, by the way, I must say we have only 5 expats. 1,995 employees are Indians. Okay, so now I'll rest it here. That's business, but let people have their own interpretations and meaning out of this whole thing.
That's fair. No, I think it was something that you knew I was going to ask you. I'm sure you had preempted that. But having said that, you're right. I think at the end of the day, people need to make up their own mind about it. And by the way, you're getting a lot of support. There are a lot of people who are saying very true. I agree with you. So more power to you. And okay, I'm bringing Udit back in, and also now adding Runa in. Do you want to introduce her to everybody who's watching, Rajiv?
Yeah, so Runa actually is our head of communication, and she's doing a great job for us. But I'll give it to Runa, whatever she has to say, and whatever has been her experience so far.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, and thanks, Siddharth. So, honestly speaking, life is beautiful at MG. You know, the way they've welcomed me and embraced me, my family. It's just unthinkable. I mean, I don't feel that I am a new joinee or etc. etc. I really love being part of the community here, and so much to say that my job is not restricted to just making PRs. Though I'm a communication department, there are so many initiatives that I can take. I can suggest, and Rajiv and Gaurav and the top management is so approachable that you can just go to them, take the initiative, and even implement it. So
Right.
that's the kind of bandwidth that they give to an employee.
So, Runa, can you talk about what kind of things you are doing at this point of time? Because that's what I think Siddharth was asking.
Yeah, so basically, communication here is very honest and straightforward. So, more than an auto company, I think we are a community focused company here. So, I really don't remember the last time I did a PR on a product, but I've been doing back to back announcements on, the kind of community service initiatives that we are taking, which are focused on, the dealers, the people, employees, and community as a whole. For example, today we just announced that we will be providing 100 hectares to these frontline warriors, which is a great initiative, and no other auto brand has done it as of now. So I mean, I'm really proud to announce that we've stepped forward and we are taking this initiative. Other than that, almost every third day there is a new initiative. There's recently we announced that we will be building 100 rooms hostel for our employees at Halul, because we want to provide them a sanitized accommodation. So that's for our employees. Now for our customers, lot of initiatives. We've recently done a tie-up with Mediclin, wherein we will be providing them a sanitized car, and this sanitization goes beyond. So this is again an industry first.
Right.
No other auto brand has done it.
Yeah.
So you
So
know what? I have to I have to ask this question because something that Runa said just kind of struck a chord here with me. For all of you actually, I know it applies, but Rajiv, to you then, the fact that since the Auto Expo pretty much, we haven't really had the chance with any manufacturer, and of course yourself included, to really talk about product as such. I mean, there hasn't really been, and that's one. But the second is also, we have been seeing these announcements coming from you over the last few days. And as an observer, as someone who tracks the industry, not only have I got to compliment you on it and your team, but something else that kind of stays with me is that you could have used the same maybe financial amount and just contributed it to a cause, or given it to a certain fund or whatever, instead of getting involved with these individual projects at the community level. So at what point did you make that distinction and that decision?
I think, and somebody on my Twitter handle also posed this question, that how much you have contributed to the Prime Minister of Care Fund.
Yeah.
Right. And so, here we took a conscious call. See, suppose we have to contribute 5 crores, right? The easiest thing for us is to make an announcement of 5 crores and give it to Prime Minister Care Fund.
Yeah.
Right. Easiest thing, right? No efforts, just give it. But here, what we use this opportunity to involve our employees and find out projects worth 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 2 lakhs, so that all the employees, or most of the employees, can get engaged. And also we can promote some local NGOs, local authorities, and also, even local, some small startups, the kids who want to help the society, and they're looking for 20,000 rupees or 50,000 rupees. So this 5 crore I can spend as 100 initiatives.
Yeah.
But that means a lot of efforts. a lot of energy, a lot of focus. You won't believe we have daily call now with 50 of our employees. We call it community support group. So somebody comes with an idea. Can I give face mask, face shield to traffic police in Gurgaon, as an example, or in Baroda?
Yeah.
That initiative is 200 face masks. Okay, that's 1 lakh of rupees. We say, okay, go ahead. But here we say, listen, company is not helping you. Okay, if you come out with an idea, you execute yourself. Don't ask for help, right? So what's happening is the people who want to really contribute, the employees, they are getting charged up. They are becoming motivated, and they are doing it on their own. This initiative, and we say, okay, you run with this. So that's what is happening right now. One big idea came today, and Siddharth, I want to announce it on your show. And Runa probably would announce it to the public in next few days. But I can tell you, like the idea came that once we start our workshops, hopefully post lockdown, 4th of May, 5th of May, then, can we tell, let's say, the police guys, their jeeps and all, we can sanitize in our workshop. By the way, one sanitization process may cost us approximately 1,000 rupees.
Yeah.
So, but we said, okay, let's do it. So, can we tell our dealers to entertain any police vehicles, to sanitize their vehicles because they're again the front end warriors, and do it for the whole month of May? That may again cost us around 25 lakhs of rupees. This is the calculation, the budget we have. But we said, okay, let's do it. It's a good cost. So one person came with this suggestion. Now we told him, okay, now you go and execute it. So that's what we decided to do it.
No, so this is something that you would take on, not the dealers, in the sense you'll instruct the dealers, but the cost of it would come back to the company.
No, cost is ours because obviously we can't even, and by the way, we'll talk about the dealer support also. We can't tell dealers to pay it from their side. So we are going to give this money to dealer, but dealer will be doing the service to the front end.
That's exciting, and I think it's a great initiative. Thank you for announcing it here. So if those of you who just missed that, by the way, that was brand new information. And let me also just quickly tell you and the rest of your team members. Let me bring them back up here as well. So many people are actually reacting to everything that you're saying. Heartening to hear, says Gautam. Mohammed says very intelligent, and Pratibha says providing sanitized car. That's great. Great step by MG, says Vivek. Harish says, I don't see any other company working as hard on the ground level, helping people in this kind of crisis. Genevieve says, yes, that's correct, Harish. So, it's great to say. I mean, and honestly, there are more. There's talk about the affordable ventilators. I know we'll get to that. And in fact, that's something that I definitely want to talk about. But before
Siddharth, one more, if you don't mind, I'll indulge here. One example, if I can give it to you, because again, it tells you, so one ninth grade student who lives in Gurgaon, one of the compounds, and she approached us, and she said that she wants to try to make face mask, and she wants 20,000 rupees. Okay, again, a very small thing. So again, from the same budget, we said, okay, we earmarked one person with her. We said, okay, you try to support this girl. Obviously, we agreed for 20,000 rupees. And now this person is doing it. In fact, Ventilator project is an amazing project. And in fact, frankly, when we said that, okay, we raised our hands that we want to try Ventilator. And as I've said earlier, I could not spell how the Ventilator, right?
Yeah.
But now we have reached a stage where I'm really excited that lots of things we can do. And Vikas, Goel, he's in purchase department, and he raised his hand. He said he wants to do this project. So we said, okay, why not you take it? So Vikas, probably we should invite Vikas, and he can tell you about the ventilator project.
Udit, can you get in Vikas for us? Maybe we can.
Yeah. Just getting in Vikas for all of you. Just a minute.
In fact, what I'll do is I have a little bit of a video that I've managed to source, so I'm going to play that out right now, which just shows the basic design and the basic ventilator that was something that your team actually came up with. So let me go ahead and play that while we get Vikas. All
Yeah,
right, so
so
we saw the ventilator just now, and that was, it's basically the kind of innovation that is the need of the hour. Udit, do we have Vikas? Yes, I see him now. So let me bring him in.
Yeah.
There you go. That is Vikas. Good evening, Vikas. And I believe that you are head of purchase, but now you have become head of ventilator project. That's new designation for
Very,
you and the auto industry.
yeah, good evening, Siddharth. Yes, and that is quite nice. And I feel very proud to work for something which is required to support society in this moment. And you're right, I've been in purchase last 18 years, and I don't know about ventilators, but yes, when I saw MG vision that they want to support the society, and you are already aware that a couple of initiative already been taken, and as you know, that I just repeat, maybe the one of the initiative taken by MG is to have announced a kind of ventilator design challenge, and also announced 10 lakh rupees as a grant for the winner. And we have got quite a lot of good entries, and which is jury is reviewing. The second initiative taken by MG to build ventilators or support the society is that our own teams at plant as well as in engineering, they are developing their own prototype of ventilators. And that's very quite interesting. And the ventilator prototype is ready, it is working. And now we are waiting for the next steps so that it can regulatory approval and we can decide what can be done next. And you know, yeah, and one more thing, interesting thing, just the initiative which I am personally working on. And I'll just tell you a little bit behind the little background of that. When I saw MG's initiative and commitment towards society to make ventilators, I did reach out to management by myself and raise my hand that I want to work for society in this right cause, and I want to do something.
Okay.
Then management says yes.
That's great. No, and I must tell you that firstly, full marks to you for that initiative. And I think some of your friends have joined this because I see Soumya and Neetu saying, hi Vikas, hello Vikas sir. Auto DNA, who's a very regular handle who's been joining us on this show for a lot of the lives we've been doing, also wishing you. And in fact, by the way, Udit, to quickly also tell you, a lot of people congratulating you as well. We're getting messages on that too. So Rajeev, this is very heartening. I mean, what we are seeing right now is obviously it's a team effort, and it's not just one of those things where you're like, hey look, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. I mean, it's a cohesive effort.
Yeah, so I think that's very interesting, and the good news is that ideas are coming from the team. In fact, of around 25, 30 things what we are doing, probably I would have said 4 or 5 things from my side. Rest of the ideas have come from the team.
Right.
So we have just given a framework, and we have said, okay, this is the kind of an amount, and we are saying any initiative is between 5 lakhs to 20 lakhs, so that lots and lots of people can participate and do it. And actually, it's also, hyper local kind of event. So we are able to channelize it well, execute it well, focus on a particular community, and then do it. So in one hospital, if you required mask, we are just giving mask. As an example, one idea came today that one person is trying to build mask for in a particular society in Halol. So we said, okay, can we support that? So one person is going to be doing that. So these kind of ideas are coming. I'm so happy. Like Jasleen is here now, and Jasleen has been coordinating with the dealers. And by the way, with dealers right now, most of our discussion is how can they help their local community. So we are not talking about selling MG Hectors right now. We are saying how can you help the local community in your areas. So maybe Jasleen, is here, and let her talk about what she's
Hi,
doing.
good evening, Jasleen. Can you tell us what
Hi,
Rajiv
good
asked?
evening, Siddharth. So, Siddharth, basically, no, Rona have just touched upon this point before. Many of our dealer partners are doing, and their team members also are doing a lot of local community services. With dealers' help, we have just could able to put 100 plus cars deployed MG hectares for the community service. So that is one initiative what dealers are doing, and we are supporting definitely the dealer fraternity, especially the front end staff, because the new norm has to be taught to them, or we have to be ready when we reopen. So we are trying to support them in terms of imparting knowledge of the new sanitization norms, or what we call the social distancing, use of PPEs, all these activities we are taking now.
Right. Okay, and this is obviously happening at a pan India level. To be able to coordinate all of this, I have to ask you. In fact, any of you, and this also includes you with your teams. How are you keeping in touch with everybody on a regular basis? How are you being able to sort of bring all of these initiatives and keep them going on a regular basis with consistency?
So, Siddharth, what we are basically doing is we have the webinars and video conferencing which is happening. As Rajiv was just mentioning, we are not discussing about business at this point of time. It's only well-being check what we do. In turn, the dealer team is doing a well-being check to the customers also. Today, we are just bothered about their safety and sanitization. So, just to take you forward, maybe about a little bit about what we will do while reopening. So we have our a complete guidebook on the new operating standards, which we would like to implement when we open. Yeah, just to say that we were the first ones to have a sanitized test drive demonstration process or a contactless delivery process in place at the very beginning of COVID outbreak in India. So we'll be continuing those things. Our guide book is ready for dealers, so we are rolling out that as well, so that anybody who walks into our showroom or we go and approach, not only the customer, even our own community, that is our team,
Right.
is safe. So that's what and of course, we are a digital auto company, so a lot of digital interfaces where Udit and team is also supporting us. That's what been happening, and that's what is keeping us busy with the dealer teams.
Udit, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think WebEx meetings have become, or video conferencing have become the new
The
normal.
norm, yeah.
In fact, a week back, I had posted this entire grid of the full teams coming up. In my view, there's a lot of efficiency, but yeah, there's mental health and work-life balance as well that we're encouraging everybody to follow, because generally with these WebEx meetings, there's no logout times. So remotely, it's working really well, especially for marketeers. And at the same point in time, it's a new way to establish connections with your team, as well as reaching out to your customers. So it's going very well so far, and we wish this continues in the right spirit.
Okay, and I know that there was another initiative, Rajiv, that you recently announced, and so I want to quickly ask you about that. This is the tie-up for the. I know you briefly mentioned it. I think Runa, you mentioned it some time ago. The sanitizing of the car itself using this ozone-related technology. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Because I'm quite intrigued as to how that works.
Yeah, so this also probably is an example of how fast we can move and the agility of the company. It's not about one guy, again, the whole company, how it can move fast. So only a few days back, we got to know. And how we got to know, first we identified an issue that post COVID, what's going to be the biggest concern of consumers, right? And one thing would be about the car air, and if your driver is driving and some marks is leaving, or driver suppose has cough or some fever or whatever, and he's touching your steering and he's touching your door handles and things like that, so some pollutants can be there on the surface. So that was the customer issue or problem identified in one of our discussions. So then we started thinking about what can be the solution. So now if you look for the solution, you have PM 2.5 filter, but that takes care of only one issue.
Yeah.
You have some ionizers or ozonizers, but again they have some limitations. As the luck would have been, we got to know a world-class product which is produced by a Singaporean company. We approached each other. It almost happened at the same time, just few days back, and in 4 days, we did the tie-up. So we signed MOU, NDA, the confidentiality agreement, and then we said, okay, this is what we are going to do. So what this product does is that it sanitizes the car completely, takes care of bacteria, molds and viruses, and not only it cleans the air, which some other solutions also provide, but also it clears the surfaces. So, and this is a non-chemical and very non-invasive kind of a solution. And this produces ozone. So with active oxygen, you do it. So it's going to be very interesting. In fact, we signed up within 4 days, as I said. And as the luck would have been, today we have been told, good or bad, I don't know, that most of the other big manufacturers of the country have approached the same guy, same company, and they are asking for the same solution. I'm happy to say that our company became the first. We moved very fast and we have done it. So, and also one thing probably through your channel I want to convey that this solution probably would be possible even on the existing Hectors. So we can have some kind of a accessory solution and which we can provide. So again, we started with what customers would like to have a new need as part of new normal, and then we came with this.
So this is something that you'd offer at the sales end, right? I mean, this is not going to be standard fitment.
No. So to start with, we are looking at two solutions.
Yeah.
One is how to be quick to the market. So maybe the accessory at the dealer end probably is quickest to go. And in fact, as this whole lockdown opens, maybe we'll get the first shipment, hopefully in the next 1 week or 10 days, hopefully. But then we are also testing it in our plant now. We are going to test it in the plant once the plant starts. And here we need to check the ozone dose and do the right calibration because ozone has got some standard international specifications.
Sure.
So we need to do some calibration. So hopefully we should be able to provide it as part of the OEM fitment from the factory in future. But that may take maybe 6 to 8 weeks or 10 weeks. I'm not exactly sure. It will go through its own due diligence.
All right, fair enough. One other area which I do want to talk about before we start talking product, because I'm sort of itching to talk about the cars in any case, even though I know it's not what's happening right now, is how, I mean, you're taking all these initiatives to the community, and what about your own community, in the sense all your employees, keeping everybody's sanity, just making sure that even they themselves are feeling firstly like they're a part of this, if they're not directly involved. And then secondly, gearing up for when things do open up.
I think I'd like to invite, our HR lead, Mausam, and Udit, if you can try to get Mausam, and also Garvita, because Garvita takes care of HR in Gurgaon office, and Mausam takes care of the plant and overall, and Garvita also takes care of some of these community initiatives in Gurgaon. So if you can get them, maybe
I just called both of them.
Okay. So Siddharth, maybe if you don't mind, if you can repeat the question to Mausam when she joins in, and then Garvita.
No, I'll be very happy to do that. In fact,
I think Mausam is joined already.
Hi, good evening, Mausam.
Hi, Siddharth. Good evening.
Hi. So the question that I was asking Rajeev, and I'm now going to throw to you, is about employee, health in terms of even their mental health. The fact that it's been a tough 30 days, more than that in some cases. And how to keep them in good humor, whether they are or not involved in some of these initiatives that the company has been taking, but then also to sort of gear up and get ready for when things do normalize. I mean, how are you keeping tabs on that, and what are some of the things that you've done specific to that?
Sure. So, well, Siddharth, we are a very young workforce. And keep the people motivated and engaged is in this phase is quite important for us. So we have I'll respond to these questions by categorizing into 3 areas. So one is our existing team. One area is the people who were supposed to join during this phase, and the third is the community, which Rajeev and Udit might have spoken earlier. So for our existing employees, we ran various campaigns, and we got overwhelming response from our people. So we got to know that they are quite engaged in it. We had stay-at-home stories wherein we encouraged people to share their stories, how they're engaged with their families, kids and kins, and what all activities they are doing it right now. We also ran 21 days of self-discovery challenge to create a new you within yourself. So if you have not done anything before, it's the time and opportunity to do that. With that, we also engaged the extended family members, like we ran quiz for the kids of the family members, and there also kids participated in these programs. We thought that, along with these programs and campaigns, we thought this is an opportunity, it's a platform for us. And also employees would feel that this is the time they'll utilize it for their personal professional development. And we offered a plethora of learning and development training programs, virtual, again in a very capsule format, ranging from 2 hours to 4 hours, to enhance their leadership competencies, the functional competences, and also product related training programs. A very good question. You said that mental well-being of a person is very important at this point in time. So considering the physical and mental well-being of our people, we did a tie-up with few experts, few organizations, and we ran programs like meditation, yoga, also desktop yoga, also food habits in terms of during this phase what should be your food habits, ergonomics like you are working from home. We have a very good program which is employee assistance program,
Right.
and we have started sending mailers to the family members and the employees that if you need any help from the experts, from the coaches, this is the time you should leverage it, so that they are quite confident and they move through this phase very easily.
Okay.
Shifting, sorry, yeah.
No, I just wanted to quickly get Rajeev back for a second here because Rajeev, this, all of this, the fact that, it of course keeps the overall productivity or the sense of productivity, not just today, but even, when things open up in mind, that's got to be something that even you're keeping an eye on, right? I mean, you'd be worried about how quickly you can hit the ground running once things normalize.
Yeah, so again, that's a very topical thing at this point of time. As I told you that we like got the approval that we can start production if everything else is in place. But we started doing these discussions around 2 weeks back that how would day one will look like, when we have to start production in the plant.
Yeah.
So again, we made a task force to work on that, and they have taken care of the new SOPs as we call it now, and I think everyone calls that, and then also take care of the employees and how do we make sure that employees that none of the members from the employee family is sick, and how do we make sure that they are given proper protection and things like that. So there is a separate group called Day One Activities. That's what we are doing it. So focus goes on community, focus goes on dealers, focus goes on day one preparation, and then there is a big issue of supply chain readiness, because the biggest issue right now is going to be our suppliers who are in Pune. How do they get ready and start working? Probably that will happen only post fourth. And likewise, we have a lot of supplier base in and around Gujarat, Baroda, and Ahmedabad area, and NCR area. So there is a whole team working on the supply chain issues. So I think it's not a switch on and switch off. We switched off fully before the lockdown, but the switch on is going to take a lot of time. A lot of preparation is required, and team is focused on that.
All right. Now, like I said, simply must start talking about product. But one very quick thing, I know we've got Garvita here as well. So, Rajeev, you had a specific point you wanted her to talk about.
Yeah, so Garvita is part of the HR team based in Gurgaon, and right now Garvita is focused on some specific initiatives. So maybe I'll let Garvita speak for a minute or so. Yeah.
Hi, Siddharth. So as Rajeev said, right, so I head the administration. However, it's the passion, that drives this whole community support team that we are. And as you know, that, it's a DNA when it comes to, diversity, girl-child education. And we are supporting, various NGOs in ensuring that girl education is an integral part for, the country as a whole to grow. And seeing the current scenario of COVID-19, we have done, small initiatives where when it comes about, taking care of the meal supply to the migrant workers, we have supported about meals of 12,000 migrant workers, distribution of more than 8,000 ration kits to the Delhi slum areas. And, we all spoke about, this WebEx meeting becoming the new thing. And even in education, most of the classes are happening online. But the girls that we support comes from, marginal communities. And you will be surprised that, leaders, women leaders from MG have stepped forward to mentor these girls.
Mm-hmm.
So these girls will be mentored by our women leaders in terms of, how to take their studies in this time. And these girls are very passionate in learning. The only thing is they don't have the resources.
They just need the
They don't have
opportunity.
the schools that can offer them, online learning.
Right.
So these are the small steps, we are taking to ensure that the more we do is the less in the current scenario. So we are taking small steps, and
No, it's very
we are still
creditable.
going on. We're
I
still
have
going on in
to.
the same initiative.
No, I'm actually thrilled to hear this because, and I know Rajiv, you and I have had private conversations about this in the past. That there's even in the automobile industry context, I can speak for ourselves as well. Even as a auto media unit, we would love to see more women join in, and so it's great to see that not just in terms of overall workforce, but even in leadership positions, as Gavita just mentioned, you do have a lot of role models for these girls. I mean, that's got to be something that we have to commend you on, Rajiv.
No, I'm really happy to take that because I think as diversity we talked about it, and Siddharth, I may have spoken to you. When we started this company, MG India, it was very clear that to do things in a different way, you have to be meaningful and impactful. And one thing was very clear, which I think I've said in many interviews earlier, that we were coming when nobody gave us a chance, any reasonable chance to be successful in this country. And the two big giants, Maruti and Hyundai, they hold 70% market share. And most of the multinationals, in my humble opinion, they don't figure in top of the mind of Indian consumers. So what would we have done? And then, as you said, the elephant and dragon story, that MG British brand, but coming from China owners, why people should buy our car?
Yeah.
So that was very clear right from the day one of formation of this company. So we said we need to be very different kind of a company. So it was absolutely clear. So we came out with a slogan, that we need to, our company has to be, we said our company culture has to be speed, SPEED. So we said S is startup culture, P the passion to be successful, E is execution, and another E is ease of doing business, and D is diversity. So in that diversity, we said we need to have people from non-auto background, two-wheelers and four-wheelers, and within four-wheelers from all over the country, means all kinds of companies, and gender diversity. So gender diversity became a very important pillar of our culture as part of the speed. And that's what, right from the day one, we have been focusing on. I'm happy to say that we are 32%. Our workforce comprised of 32%, which probably is definitely the best in country, but one of the best in the world.
Absolutely.
And our target is, can we make it 50%, which is close to the nature? Very tough challenge, but I think we are going towards 50%. Hopefully one day in 2-3 years time, we can do 50%.
Well,
and there, the important thing is, Siddharth, which I think I'm really passionate about, that is that even in the plant, the associates or the workers or the blue collars, there we have more than 32% ratio. So we go to the villages, we talk to Panchayat, and by the way, there's HR, Mausam and Yash and the other guy called Munshiji there in Gujarat factory, and Kiran. All these guys go to the villages, convince them that our place is a safe place. Sometimes gives them a bus for the families to come to the plant, see the whole area, get convinced, and then we take these young girls, 21-year girls in NEEM scheme, and then we give them 1 month of basics training, hygiene training, how to use a toilet and things like that. And then they get trained in manufacturing a car, and some of them are welding the cars and painting the cars. And sometimes we face a lot of challenges sometimes. Sometimes they say, how can they hold a gun for 8 hours and do the welding? So we did some blind tests. That's what. So we did some welding. And it's a passionate subject, so allow me to indulge. So we did some blind testing, welding done by young girls and welding done by young boys. And guess what? The welding done by girls was better than boys. So I think we face challenges, but we find a way to come over that, and we are really passionate. And by the way, this would not have been possible if the team had not embraced the target. And now we are moving into beyond diversity number, but also inclusion. I think they need to be included properly in the workforce.
All right.
And I think we have a long way to go. And I would like to say, hum bhi sadhu nahi hain, काफी पाप किए हुए हैं, in the sense that we have done lots of mistakes, but we are trying to improve.
No, I'm going to.
It's very dedicated.
No, I'm sort of inspired by that. I'm going to probably steal your speed slogan there, and maybe try and adopt some of that as well, because I do agree with most of what you've said in any case on all of that. So now I think I'll be absolutely lynched if I don't get into product discussions with you, because
Yeah.
first.
So we also sell cars type, right?
Yeah, we also talk cars in this case right now, so we better do it. The first question that I see straight away right now is from Ashutosh, who says, "What kind of lineup does MG have for EVs in the current financial year? Have any of those plans been postponed due to the current crisis?"
While dealing with this problem in the short run, I think we can't take our side away from medium and long term, right? And this is another part which obviously we have not discussed, but I think, yeah, you're right. I think we need to talk about that. So I think this year, as you know, Siddharth, we have already showcased in Auto Expo that 6-seater Hector, which we are calling it Hector Plus, should be launched anytime now. We have launched it in April, post-COVID era timeframe, but now it's delayed a little bit because of the lockdown. So hopefully by June end or so, if we are allowed to start functioning, even 70-80% normalcy, if we have in May or so, then by June end we should launch Hector 6. Next vehicle is Gloucester, which again we declared, and we said around Diwali time we would be doing it. Looks like we still can meet those timelines. There was some accelerated testing has to be done for that vehicle. So instead of one, we'll deploy 2 shifts or 3 shifts if we can do in June or July, so that we can catch the time. So these 2 launches will happen. The fourth product, so first is Hector, second is ZS EV. Hector Plus is part of Hector. It's a brand extension, so I'm not calling it as a new product. Gloucester is the third product. And the fourth product, smaller SUV, we are targeting by March, April next year. It may get delayed by 4 weeks to 8 weeks, depending on this lockdown situation, but that still remains the plan. So if everything goes well, I think next year we should be back on our target by which we can sell 80,000 to 90,000 or 100,000 cars next year.
When you say smaller SUV, that's smaller than the ZS?
It's smaller than Hector.
Okay, but this is not an EV. This is a regular ICE.
It's a regular SUV, IC engine.
Okay, the reason why I ask is because obviously, if you look at the high growth segments, the Hector is at the top end of one of those high growth segments, which is the compact SUV. But then you've got the subcompact SUV, which has been, of course, getting a lot of volume. And now there are so many players there. I mean, it started off being just 1 or 2, and now you've got about 4 or 5 cars there. So that's why I asked, is that what you'd be targeting?
It's not going to be easy. We are getting into the war zone, right? The heart of the war zone, if I can say. So I think that's not going to be easy. We have a long way to go, and I think our task is cut out. So it's going to be very, very tough and competitive.
Okay. While we were talking, of course, I was showing some of those pictures of the Gloucester and of course the Hector Plus. The other car that you showed at the Auto Expo was the G10, the MPV. So what are your prospects in that space? What is the feedback that you picked up from the Auto Expo on that car?
It was very encouraging, and also one of the competitors also launched their van, and I think the response has been very good. So based on that, and also as well as our own feedback on our vehicle, I think the segment is very small. It's not huge, but I think it's developing. So we are quite enthused. I won't rule out entry of that also in next 2 years.
So the car on your screens right now is the G10, and maybe in the next 2 years is when it could be considered for the market, says Rajeev. Rajeev, while we are on product, what has the experience been like on the ZS EV? I mean, in terms of just giving us a sense of what feedback you've got from the market. I know you sold out in any case with your initial sort of consignment, but how soon do you need to bring in another consignment? What's your takeaway from that?
So it's the response was unbelievable in true sense, because we need to see the perspective. We need to see the context. Last year, all EVs put together, 4-wheelers I'm talking, cars I'm talking, sorry, PV, was less than 3,000, right? So that's the context. And here we are launching a car 20 lakhs plus category, and where a lot of naysayers and doubters kept asking us why people would buy your product. And we kept saying, and by the way, thanks to those questions and doubts, we had to do our homework. right? So we said, okay, can we, because the biggest question was, how do you charge? And so we created the whole ecosystem, the charging system. We said, hey, we are going to get the charger. We are going to put the charger at your place. We'll take the permissions and things like that, So, and plus lots of other things, part of the ecosystem. Battery life cycle management. Can we have the second life of the battery? What happens to battery after 9 years and things like that, the warranty and the range and things like that. So our team made a EMG Shield kind of a program, tried to answer those questions. And then we started the bookings. So the good thing is we tried to answer these questions. We did not disclose the price and we started the bookings. We gave a range that's going to be around 20 lakhs to 25 lakhs. And guess what? We get 3,000 bookings in almost 4 weeks. 3,000 bookings, more than what the whole Indian automotive EV market was last year. And so that tells you that if you do your homework well, if you give a good solution, and obviously goes without saying ZS EV is a great car, great car, drives very well. In fact, if you drive ZS EV, probably you will not like driving your normal petrol car or diesel car because it drives so well. The product is so good. The acceleration is amazing. The braking is amazing. Anyway, so we got that kind of booking. So we have delivered almost 400 cars already in January and February. January end. So February and March, whatever, till 20th March, we have already delivered more than 400 cars, right? So we were thinking around 1,000 cars a year kind of thing. Right now, we have upped our forecast to 3,000 to 4,000 cars. And mind it, this is only in 5 markets, only in 5 cities. And we are seeing the demand coming from other places, like Chandigarh wants to have it, like Chennai wants to have it, so slowly we will probably expand. So it has been a spectacular success, a spectacular welcome, I would say. I won't say success still, but I think, so we are being enthused and hopefully, we can supply more and more cars this year.
Udit, I know you're still here, so I want to quickly ask you that. I mean, a problem of plenty is always the right kind of problem to have. But do you have plans on how you're going to handle the kind of demand that you will have on your hands once things open up again? Because not only will more people want the ZS EV, but there's so much talk about, yet another model. People want like an electric hatchback or a smaller car, but electric.
So I think post this period, the biggest thing is that we are analyzing is the behavioral change and how we can innovatively go into new experiences. So how people will go ahead and engage into new forms of experiences, new types of delivery mechanisms, new types of buying behavior. So while on the product front, yes, if we go back to ZS EV, it was an overwhelming response. Even when you look at the online aspect of things, when we said that 40% of the ZS EVs that were sold were booked online. So we already see that trend coming in, that people spending a lot of time in immersive experiences online, whether it's the visualizer, whether it's the car configurator, whether it's new buying methodology. But as we progress post-COVID times, this would even go further. So what we are right now doing is focusing on new experiences, new innovations. How do we keep them engaged with the current set of lineups, of course, and cope up with the demand that's there right now. We have bookings for the Hector, we have bookings for the EV. So keeping them massaged with content, keeping them engaged, adding value to their lives. So the biggest part is whatever content that we are trying to create for the EV, for the Hector, even in these times, it is all driven by value. So how can it benefit the customer? That's, I think, is the goal that we are targeting overall.
Okay, as we are speaking, of course, we continue to see pictures of the ZS EV, the videos they're playing out, and we also now seeing the Hector itself. The first car that you came to India with, Rajeev, the Hector, there was so much riding on it. It's quite some months in now, and the fact that you also managed to cement your position with the whole Internet Inside tag, and the car itself, I think, has been received quite well in terms of its looks and its space and size offering. What are some of the learnings from the Hector that you're now going to be able to take into some of the upcoming launches that we've just talked about?
Siddharth, we have been fortunate so far that the start has been good. We got good response. We got good bookings. We have delivered more than 24,000 cars. We have still lots of bookings pending with us. Some people may delay it because of post-COVID scenario, but still some customers want their deliveries right now. We still get 10 to 12 inquiries a day about their delivery dates. So we have been fortunate and lucky. but I would not like to declare success yet because of some reasons. I think again, it's a good start, but I think the success of the product will be decided in 3 years to 4 years time,
Okay.
because when the first phase we have done well, the second phase will come about the cost of ownership, the warranty experience, the cost on repairs. The cars when they go out of warranty, though we are giving 5 years warranty, but after 3 years, the repairs cost increases generally. So how's that experience and how's the cost? Are customers happy with us? Are customers happy with dealers' services? I think that's the second phase which we are grappling with right now. And we are not the best. We want to be the best. So here there are some areas of improvement. And
Yeah.
the third thing and very important thing in India is the resale price. So after 3 years and 4 years, when many people start selling the car, are you holding up in terms of resale price? And that's what decides the success of the brand. If we complete this 3 to 4 years successfully, then I would say more than Hector, MG gets established. So we
All
have a
right.
long way to go, a lot of impediments, and I think we just cannot celebrate that we have done a great job. So far, so good. But I think this is what our dealers, our employees, and everyone I think is focused on right now. And my challenge is to make sure that we remain focused on servicing the customer the right way at the right cost, and we don't do harakiri in our sales and marketing so that the price of
Yeah.
the Hector goes down. I think that's
Yeah.
what probably we need to employ and deploy in all the new cars.
Now, I must tell you that I've been ignoring some of the comments, so I have to bring you up to speed on some of this because a lot of people have been sort of commenting on what we've been talking about. There are some questions, of course, but this one's an amusing one, so I have to read it out. Ravi says Rajiv sir is on his way to looking like Amitabh Bachchan in one of with his growing beard. So there's that. Then there is the whole conversation that we were having about the cars, of course. So an amusing one that I have from Chetan is that on a lighter note, will the Hector Plus support dual SIM because bigger than the Hector? So I like that. That's funny. Couple of
By the way, that's a good one to think about. Obviously, it can't have right now, but in future, yeah, okay, that's a good input actually.
okay, there you go, Chetan. So that's nice.
Thanks, Chetan. Yeah.
Subrat says, I love the marvelous Marvel X. I guess this is the one you showed at the expo that people are now referring back to as well. And then there are questions obviously about specific cars. So let's get into that. By the Chetan also mentions that MG should go in, bring in some autonomous or semi-autonomous features like self-parking in the under 20 lakh price point. I don't know if that's possible, but bringing in new features and trying to still create that buzz with each new car so that you have that distinction. That's going to be important.
So Siddharth, so far we have done that pretty well, I would say, because as Udit also mentioned, one of the four pillars is innovation, and I think we have done a lot. So Hector came out first time, this internet inside technology, connected car technology, hybrid 48 volt. Nobody in the country has it, and we have it. Right, so and lots of features, panoramic sunroof in that kind of a price band. So lots of features, lot of technology. I think is there. It's a loaded car, Hector. Then we up the ante and we got ZS EV, so the full EV we got it. Now in future cars, what all we can do right now, maybe just keep it under wrap at this point of time. But yes, our challenge would be that how do we keep this innovation?
You don't have to keep
this innovation wrap. Yeah, that's the challenge. But I think it's interesting the way the team will try to do due diligence on some of these things, and let's see what all we can do.
All right, fair enough. Another comment, of course, from Ken is that the future is electric. So I think people do want to see more electric cars from you. The RC6 sedan, Ankur has a question about when you would bring that if you would.
So I think we need to tell Ankur that probably he needs to take my position to launch so many cars in 3 years. I cannot do it. So Ankur probably should be in my place. Anyway.
That's not a no, by the way. That's still not a no. So...
Jokes aside, yeah, by the way, we got pretty good feedback on that car too, so we need to evaluate. See, right now our speed is approximately one car launch in 9 months. I don't think so we can do better than that. And we are a very young company. So most of our employees are less than 1 year old, and the oldest employee is me, which is 3 years old, right, in this company. I think we need to make sure that we are able to follow the right processes, the quality, have the right governance system, the right culture, and then launch the car well. So lots of cars are on anvil. Good point is that we have a good range, and then we need to look at our plant capacity too. So probably I'm not answering it directly. The thing is, yes, it's also on the short list, but we can't give any time frame for that car. Right?
Okay, that's fair. And I don't want to sort of, in any case, put you on the spot. But when you look at the various segments now, of course, it's not at all difficult to understand why you'd be focusing on SUVs. You mentioned the Gloucester. You've said that next year you'll even have the compact SUV, or the one that's smaller than the Hector. But what about the hatchback space? Is that something that you think is something you don't need to focus on in the short term? Or you sort of keeping that brewing on alongside and having those feasibility studies running too?
So Siddharth, this is what I've been telling everyone, including the headquarters, both in UK and Shanghai, that listen, our focus has to be having the right foundation, and I know that we all of us get under pressure on volumes and bottom line and things like that. That in any case will always be there. But I always keep saying the focus has to be on foundation, and foundation means good employees, good dealers, right? Satisfied customers. So our matrix right now internally is only about these three things: employee satisfaction, dealer satisfaction, and customer satisfaction. And the numbers follow. Numbers follow. And
Yeah.
so far, so good. This is what is happening. So once we have established MG brand, once we have started with 2-3 successes on two, three initial products, then I think to be serious, we need to get into smaller cars. We need to get into less than 10 lakhs car, right? And so that definitely would happen, but that's kind of phase two. And for that also we need more capacity. We probably need to talk about second plant. So those are the questions which we have already talking about it. But thanks to this Corona thing, probably it's delayed by a few months now. Because I think we need to take care of the current situation. But I think that's definitely on the anvil, and we would be talking about plant capacity and smaller cars in next 1 year time or so. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be launched in 1 year, but I think in 2022, 23, that kind of a time frame, I think we should get into all those segments, provided we make a great foundation this year and next year.
But tell me, when you speak about capacity, Rajeev, the current plant at Halol, is there room to build fresh capacity there, or would you have to just look at an absolute greenfield project?
So good news is, yes, we have a space.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but if we can get some extra 40-50 crores in near vicinity, where we can have some extra services there, like warehouses we can have there, or finished good yard we can have there. So I think with our current land plus little bit extra land nearby, probably we can manage. But I think we need to look at the other issues also, like state incentives and
Sure.
the GST returns and things like that. So, and also proximity to the port and other issues. So I think we have all the options on the table right now. We are looking at greenfield, brownfield, as well as there is a lot of capacity in the country which is idle with some other players. So so frankly and candidly, we are also talking to them that, hey, let's not do any capital wastage because capital is going to be pretty scarce with everyone. So if we can join hands, share hands, that also is possible. So everything is possible, and hopefully we should be analyzing our plans in the next 6 to 9 months.
Can I push my luck and ask you which players?
No, see,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
one thing, Siddharth, I would say, थोड़ा सा ज्ञान है इसमें, थोड़ा ज्ञान दे रहा हूँ. वो ये कि now in this new scenario, more we collaborate, cooperate, work with each other, can reserve our cash, save capital. That's what probably is the way to go. Globally, and you have hundreds of examples globally where manufacturers cooperate and support. So likewise in India, if we have some extra capacity available at somewhere, which and then our culture kind of matches, some value system has to match, and I think why not? So we are looking at all the options with very open mind, and I must tell you that good interest has been shown by many players.
No, that's actually good to know. And of course, I was kidding about that, but you're right. I think everybody even gets it now because, this is possibly going to be the new way forward, a greater collaboration and a sense of that within the industry, given the fact that everybody is going to be under so much pressure in any case in the next well, foreseeable future. It's not just the next few months. We're talking about possibly the next few years.
Right.
I simply have to just ask you for some more details on the Gloucester, though, because there have been a lot of questions. When we said that you're going to be on the show, a lot of people immediately started asking about Gloucester. So tell us a little bit more about that car.
That's a pretty interesting one. Probably we are stretching the MG brand, some guys will say. But, it would be, so you don't have, how should I say it? So you have some products, above Hector, and not big volumes, but they are doing some solid, good, reasonable volumes. We would be above that segment. So, if you call it SUV D, so as we call Hector is SUV C, and let's say below that Seltos and Seltos and Creta come into SUV B, and less than 4 meters is SUV A. So SUV D, if I can call that segment, there are a few players. We will be D plus, so we will come in D plus kind of a segment, and it would have good features, good technology, great presence. I'm sure people have seen the car already in Auto Expo or the photographs, and I think you were saying you are showing it to the audience. So so good presence on the road, great features, good technology, and that's what I can tell you. I would like to believe it should be again compelling like Hector in that segment, but it's a very small segment. So again, not big volumes, but I hope we can establish MG brand firmly with that introduction.
Okay, fair enough. There's one question that has come in right now, which I should ask you before I miss it. It's from Harish. He says, "What's the status of the BS4 stock at MG's dealerships?"
I'm so happy to say that our team, and again, Siddharth, I frankly, sincerely believe that our team is the best in the industry, and our dealers are the best in the industry. I sincerely believe it. So they did great planning, and we finished everything by We stopped shipping cars by January end or first week of February. So actually, by 15th March, we had zero stock at dealers. Forget about MG India. MG India, we finished it January end or February first week. But even dealers finished all this. So we don't have a single car in BS4. So I think it was a great planning then. And BS6, we started in ramping up.
All right. So that's good to hear, actually. And I know that many of the manufacturers have done what you've done, but there are a few who have not been able to. And so good for you that you're on the right side of this. All right. I know I've gone over the time I had said I would spend with you today.
I was looking at that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but one last question then before I let you go, Rajeev.
One more last.
The absolute last. The absolute last. The outlook for you for the year. I won't ask about the industry because that's kind of obvious, I think, to see. But given the fact that you can try and control some of your own destiny at MG, what would be, you've spoken about how you are readying yourself for when the floodgates open, but what becomes the immediate priority for you when that happens?
As usual, we have created scenarios for the industry as well as our position, and I'm sure you have also read lots of such forecasts. So the worst case scenario, I think for industry looks like 20-25% down, most likely 16-17% down, but nobody knows the situation. Somebody still is talking about a V-shaped recovery, but even COVID can be, kind of a W form, right? It may go, it may come back, it may go, it may come back. So lots of such scenarios for even COVID virus. So based on that, industry scenarios are 2-3, most likely, as I said, 16-17% down. Worst case maybe 25% down. So as far as our performance goes, I think it all depends on the customer demand as well as the stimulus, what probably the government also should give. So we are a little bit lucky that we have still some bookings, but frankly, I won't believe that all of them will be on the day one when we open. So some of them may delay their decision. So we may be lucky in only first 2-3 months, but after that, I think our product has to speak. Our customers, word of mouth is important, whether they are happy with the cars or not, and they have to speak. And little bit, I think the government has to provide the stimulus for the industry. So based on that, I think we'll see. So far, we remain optimistic. It's very difficult to give you a number right now, how much number we'll end up with. But hopefully, we should do better than the industry. Hopefully.
Well, I wish you all the very best with that, Rajeev. It's been an absolute pleasure. It always is, actually, speaking with you, I have to say. And so no different today. And I'm not going to keep you much longer. There's one video that I wanted to play out earlier, which I didn't play out. So it's just the one thing to, I guess, leave people with. So let me go ahead and play it. So what we're seeing right now is Rajeev jogging in the lobby of his apartment building. So I can see you are taking, you're not letting the health side of the lockdown get to you.
That was a challenge which I, had with my family, and I said, they were saying, we can't go down, we can't do this. I said, okay, we can run here. So I ran 3 kilometers in that space, and just to prove a point to the family. But yeah, it's difficult to, but yeah, I now I'm allowed to go down. So, I do walk and do some exercise and yoga and all. But yeah, that's part of me, and I wish I can remain fit.
No, I wish that for you as well. And in fact, to the whole family, both at home and the larger MG family as well. Stay safe, stay healthy. Can't wait to interact with you back in the real world again. And of course, drive some of these upcoming cars. Thank you so much, Rajeev, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for this. Take care. Bye.
All right. And in fact, yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to the whole MG team who joined in. It's something we did today, which was very different from what we've ever done on Freewheeling before. So we had Rajeev Chaba, but we also had a whole host of his colleagues who joined in and shared with you what's been happening at MG Motor India the last few days, how they are sort of dealing with the current situation, and how they're also preparing for what's coming up ahead. And the good news, of course, was that there's also lots of cars that are coming, which we did manage to also talk about. We showed you some of them as well. Some of it was what was shown at the Auto Expo. So exciting times ahead. At least all of it looks good from here on, because you know what they say, that when you're down, everything from there is only up. So with that, I'm going to also quickly remind you of our contest. Let's not lose sight of that at all. And I know today we didn't get into any questions, but a reminder on the contest for those of you who are seeing this for the first time.
Log on to carandbike.com/freewheeling and answer a simple question. 3 lucky winners win a 2-night 3-day stay at any domestic Club Mahindra resort. Not just that, at the end of the month, all correct entries are eligible for the grand prize of an all-expense paid 3-night 4-day trip to Dubai or Singapore. So, keep freewheeling. Terms and conditions apply.
So you can win yourself a holiday. All of this will, of course, only apply to a period when it is safe to travel. I have said that before, and so I will reiterate that, but you will still get that holiday. And remember, the grand prize, monthly prize, will be the trip to either Dubai or Singapore. So that's something to certainly look forward to. All you have to do is go across to our website and make the entry. There it is, carandbike.com/freewheeling. And the only thing left for me to do before I say goodbye is to tell you who's going to be on the show. Tomorrow, yes, we've had an absolute action-packed week. Every day of the week, we've had a new guest. And so tomorrow, I have an old friend who's going to be joining me. And take a look at this. So Karun will be here with me tomorrow at 7 p.m. and he'll join us from his home in the UK. So please definitely tune in. It'll be fun. And all your questions that you have for Karun on not just his racing career, but even now as a TV presenter, he's always on when, of course, Formula One is on. Right now, nothing is. But it gives us a chance to be able to talk to him about some of that. So please do tune in for the conversation with Karun Chandok. That's 7 p.m. tomorrow. That is the 23rd of April. Thank you so much for joining right now. Please only step out if you must. If you do, please wear your seatbelts. And from all of us here at Car and Bike, it's a very good night. Take care of yourselves. Please stay safe.